Before we start, just a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Only 2% are subscribed. At 1,000 subscribers, I'll be posting a special video. His phone vibrates twice on the table, heart emoji flashes, screen dies. I reach for it and he snaps it away. Work, he mutters, then smiles like a dare. Mom tightens her jaw and keeps chewing. I stare until he looks down first. I'm Alex, 22, and my stomach is already burning. He taps his fork in a slow rhythm. Another buzz, he turns the phone upside down. Emergency, he says, then wipes his mouth. Nothing smells like emergency at our dinner. Who keeps sending hearts during dinner? I keep my voice flat. He lifts a shoulder and calls it team chat. New account, everyone's excited, he adds. The lie lands crooked and heavy. Mom stands and asks who wants tea. He pushes back his chair and heads for the balcony. The glass door fights him and then slides. A woman's laugh leaks through before he pairs earbuds. I watch his hand settle on his waist. He whispers fast and keeps smiling into nothing. Mom sets 2 mugs and leaves his spot empty. She stirs and never drinks. Her knuckles go pale around the spoon. What did you see? She asks without looking. I say only the heart and the grin. He returns with a lighter step and feigns surprise. Client crisis, he announces like a toast. His eyes flick to the mugs and back. He pockets the phone with a practiced twist. The pocket buzzes again like a trapped bee. I clear plates while he checks a notification. A lock screen name flashes before he realizes. Mia, a tiny heart sits by her name. He pockets the phone hard enough to wince. New timemate, he throws out like bait. Old teammate, age range, I ask without blinking. He rubs his wrist and pretends to think. She just turned 29, he says. He watches for thunder and gets silence. He adds that she is mature for her age. The dishwasher hums and he calls it a night. He grabs his jacket and glances toward the hallway. I'll be on my laptop in the den. He winks like we share a secret code. He forgets his key card by the sink. I flip the card and a cafe logo pops. Not his office, not his usual stops. Today's date sits stamped near a QR code. 2 drinks ordered within 3 minutes. 1 note reads extra cherry on top. He appears again and reaches for the card. I hold it longer than necessary. You tried a new place, I say. Team made up, he answers, then clears his throat. He tucks the card and heads down the hall. Mom gathers the napkins and keeps her voice steady. She is not our problem if he stops now. My chest tightens because now already sounds late. Do you want me to ask him again? She says not tonight and closes the pantry slowly. I linger by the den and watch reflections move. He types 1 message and deletes 3. A photo bubble pops and vanishes fast. His smile returns when another message arrives. He taps his wedding ring against the desk. Big launch tomorrow, you'll do great, his voice goes soft. He waits for a reply and bites his lip. I step into the doorway and he jumps once. Forgot my charger, I lie and unplug nothing. He covers the screen with his palm like a reflex. Want to practice your pitch? I ask from the rug. He laughs and waves me off. Different industry, you'd be bored, he says. The screen brightens and shows a glittering heart. He turns the brightness down until I vanish. In the hall, I open the trash quietly. A small receipt curls near the top. Mia is written under a loyalty number. The barista drew a star beside the name. My pulse thuds as I smooth the paper flat. 2 drinks, 1 almond croissant. A note reads for the big day. Someone wrote you've got this with a smile. The timestamp matches that second buzz at dinner. I fold the paper and tuck it in my sleeve. He steps out behind me like a shadow. Late night for you too, he jokes. I hand him the folded receipt. Our team is very supportive, he says and waits. I ask why the heart keeps showing up. He lines on the doorframe and chooses his words. People send stickers all the time, he shrugs. Client culture, lots of energy, another shrug. He watches my face instead of the receipt. I keep my face blank and let the silence grow. He tries a different tactic and opens the fridge. Want something from the new place tomorrow. He mentions a croissant like it's harmless. He tests my reaction with a quick glance. I say I might stop by myself and see. Do that, he answers a touch too fast. He closes the fridge and wipes a clean shelf. His voice drops when he adds one request. Don't tell your mom about team drama. He waits as if I might agree to secrecy. I walk back to the den and set a trap. Show me the deck, I'll give notes. He laughs again, but softer now. Confidential, he says and pats the laptop. The phone lights and he picks it up midward. I turn for bed and count my steps. He whispers another good night into the glow. The door clicks and the hall goes still. In my room, the folded receipt presses my wrist. Tomorrow I will test very word he used. I hit the cafe at opening. Barista greets me like family. Back for the coach's order, she asks, wiping her hands. My pulse flickers as she reaches under the counter. She slides a stamped card with a scribble. A heart floats beside a name that isn't mine. I'm picking up for him, I say, steady and slow. She nods and taps the screen. Same as yesterday for Mia, she adds, friendly. I swallow and ask what he ordered today. 2 lattes, one with extra syrup, she says, watching me. I lean on the counter and try casual. Big meeting, I say, fishing for crumbs. Launch rehearsal, she answers with a grin. He loves her pep talks, she adds, lowering her voice. I pay and leave with hands that won't settle. Outside, I open the drink tray and scan the lids. Each cup has a tiny sticker with initials. M on one and A on the other. A short note sits under M. Can't wait to hear your pitch again. I text home that I will be late. Then I circle to the alley and watch the side door. Staff filter in with headphones and keys. A rideshare stops and she steps out briskly. He follows 2 minutes later with a practiced smile. They meet at the corner table by the window. No lingering touch, too careful for that. He leans forward while she speaks fast. Her hand moves like a metronome over a notebook. He laughs into his sleeve and glances outside once. I move closer and catch fragments through the hum. Slide 7, she says, tapping the page. You lost the room there, she adds, gentle. He nods and rewrites 3 bullet points. His leg bounces under the chair like a signal. My phone buzzes with a campus alert. He checks his watch in the same beat. Lunch after the client run-through, she says. He hesitates, then agrees with a quick nod. They exchange a look that stings more than touch. I snap a photo through the glass as they stand. He blocks my angle and shields her with his body. She laughs at something I can't hear. They walk out separately with a 3-step gap. I follow him while she lingers by the curb. He ducks into a print shop a block away. I count to 10 and go in after. He is at the counter with a flash drive. 2 sets, confidential, he tells the clerk. My chest tightens when I spot a title page. The header reads Client Q3 Coaching Deck. Below it sits a line marked Workshop Laid. Her full name stares back like a dare. He folds the packet and hides the first page. The clerk stamps a loyalty receipt and smiles. On the sidewalk, I text him a trap. Want coffee, I ask, keeping it bright. He replies fast with a thumbs up. Running late back home for calls, he adds. I watch him turn the opposite direction. I cut through the lot and reach the light. He stops at a jewelry kiosk under the stairs. The attendant opens a narrow box. He studies the glint and shakes his head. Something simpler, he murmurs, tapping the glass. My stomach climbs into my throat and stays there. He pays for a plain bracelet with a small charm. The charm matches the heart on the cafe card. He pockets the item and checks for shadows. I bend to tie a shoe I don't need to tie. Back outside, he pulls out his phone. His screen shows an open thread with confetti. A photo from last night flashes and fades. Their faces are cropped out by design. Her wrist shows the same tattoo from the bar. I step closer than I should and inhale sharp. He senses me and turns a fraction. Our eyes meet for one beat too long. Skipping class, he asks, feigning lightness. I'm researching, I answer, letting it hang. His jaw ticks once, then smooths out. Mom needs groceries tonight, he says, changing lanes. I'll grab them after the review, he adds. I nod and hold his gaze. He looks past me and pockets the phone. He starts toward the crosswalk with forced calm. I mirror him to the edge of the curb. Traffic roars while the signal stays red. He leans closer as if to share advice. Go home, he says, eyes on the light. I stand still until he disappears around the corner. Then I head back to the cafe. The barista is wiping the same spot. Did the coach crush it? She asks, curious. He will, I answer and push the stamped card forward. Can I keep this for the points? I ask, casual. She nods and waves a hand. Tell him Mia already paid for tomorrow, she says. Breakfast after the client readout, she adds. I slide the card into my wallet and breathe shallow. On campus, I trade lectures for quiet hallways. I photocopy the receipt from last night. Then I print the name from the workshop header. I stack them and count to 3. The pile feels like a fuse waiting for flame. He texts a smile and a short line about traffic. I answer with a thumbs up and nothing else. A minute later, he sends a photo. A bracelet rests on a folded napkin. Caption reads, "Good luck, token for a star." I close the images and lock my screen. My hands finally stop shaking. A plan forms with clean edges. I will be at that lunch before them. If I'm wrong, the ground will swallow me. I reach the restaurant first and claim a corner table. Host asks if I expect guests, and I nod once. I ask for water and an extra menu. My phone rests screen down under my palm. I watch the entrance like it owes me answers. She arrives before him with a fast step. A server greets her by name without checking the book. She requests the back booth with 2 quick taps. The server gestures to my corner instead. I lift a hand and keep my face neutral. She stops when she recognizes me from the cafe window. Team lunch, I say, casual as gravel. She studies my posture and tilts her head. You're here for the deck, she guesses. I let the pause stretch until her smile thins. He walks in on that silence and freezes mid-stride. His eyes bounce between us like a trapped signal. Meeting room got booked, I offer deadpan. Thought we could run through key points. He forces a nod and reaches for a chair. Menus arrive and I slide one toward her. No wine today, I add, light but sharp. She laughs once and glances at him. He tightens his jaw and smooths the napkin. The server hovers, then retreats under the tension. I pull out a printout and set it down. 1 page only with the workshop header. I found this by accident, I say. Wanted to make sure names look correct. Her fingers stop an inch from the paper. Where did you get that? She asks, careful. In town, I answer, giving nothing more. He shifts in his seat and straightens his sleeves. That line about lead feels bold for a mentee. My voice stays even, but my heart hammers. She leans back and folds her arms tight. We split duties based on strengths, she replies. He handles stakeholder pressure and approvals. I cover training because I built the framework. Her chin lifts, daring me to blink first. Cool, then no need for gifts, I say. Her eyes flick to his cuff like a reflex. He follows the movement and swallows hard. Company compliance is strict about extras. I lift my glass and let it hang. He reaches for his phone like it can save him. I speak before he unlocks the screen. Let's get ahead of any rumors from this place. Photos from coworkers travel fast around here. He freezes with his thumb above the sensor. The server returns with bread and a bright smile. I wave it away and ask for the checkbook. We'll order in a minute, I add, measured. The smile falters and footsteps retreat fast. Mia watches me like she wants to flip the table. Why are you here? She asks, voice steady. Because you keep showing up where home belongs, I answer. She blinks once and taps the table twice. You think you're protecting someone, she says. You might be pushing him off a cliff. He finally exhales and opens his hands. I told you I would handle this, he murmurs. Handle what? I snap, leaning forward. Your ego or the fallout, I ask. His mouth closes like he bit down on truth. She drags the printout closer and taps the header. This project feeds 5 salaries beyond mine, she says. He promised to shield us if leadership balks. Lunch today is about final alignment before delivery. Her voice doesn't shake, and that scares me more. I look at him and wait for a plan. His gaze drops to the table edge and sticks. We rehearsed the client demo earlier, he offers. She nailed the questions better than I did. He meets my eyes with something like pleading. So plan, I say, pushing the word hard. We finish the quarter and end social chat. He says. No outside meetings unless work requires it. No messages after hours except urgent logistics. He is setting rules like cops at a crash. I stare until he adds the missing piece. I tell your mother I've been reckless at work, he says. Not betrayal, reckless judgment, and blurred boundaries. I ask for counseling before anything else breaks. The last sentence lands like a dropped key. She watches both of us and finally nods. I can operate inside those guardrails, she says. Work only, doors open, no ambiguity. Her gaze cuts to me for confirmation. I drag a breath and feel every rib. Work only means 0 private tokens, I say. Also no secret favors or rides across town. Any personal gifts go back today. I hold out my hand without blinking. He reaches into his pocket and hesitates. A small box appears and balances on his palm. He passes it to me without breaking eye contact. I slide it across to her and wait. She pushes it back after a beat. Return it, problem solved before it starts. The server reappears with forced cheer and plates. I shake my head and lift a finger. Just waters and separate checks, I say. Meeting ended early, I add, letting it sting. The server nods and escapes like smoke. He leans closer and lowers his voice. I need your help getting home intact, he says. I will tell the truth, but I need timing. Tonight, I answer, because delay is the enemy. His shoulders sag, then square like a soldier. She pulls a spiral-bound agenda from her bag. Client session at 4, debrief at 5. I can ask to move debrief into a group room. No more sidebars that look like secrets. She looks at me again like a truce request. I stand to leave before anyone relaxes. Send the group invite from your boss, I say. Copy 3 people who watch calendars. Nothing one-on-one after today, not even 5 minutes. My chair legs scrape an ugly warning across the floor. He rises too fast and bumps the table. Water sloshes and nearly spills onto the printout. He catches the page with a quick hand. "Thank you," he murmurs, throat tight. I nod without mercy and step back. At the door, I pause and look over my shoulder. They sit on opposite sides with space between. Her hands rest flat where anyone can see them. His phone stays face down under a napkin. For now, the performance matches the rules. Outside, I text a single line to my mother. Family talk after dinner, important and safe. No details, no panic. 3 dots appear and vanish twice. Finally, she replies with one word. Home. I reach his office lobby before their session starts. Security asks for a badge and I lift my phone. Guest for the Q3 workshop, I say, calm. A staffer checks the list and waves me through. My pulse drums as the elevator doors close. Outside the conference room, I pick a bench. A calendar screen shows today's agenda in bold. Her name sits under workshop lead with his initials. Attendees stream in with notebooks and clipped jokes. I keep my eyes on the doorway and wait. She arrives with a folder tucked under her arm. He follows with a laptop and a fixed smile. A senior manager claps his shoulder as they enter. Door stays open, we're modeling transparency, the manager announces. I shift forward until I can hear every beat. She warms up the room with quick questions. He handles the hostile ones without flinching. Their rhythm lands clean and almost convincing. Then a slide flicks showing sample messages. A heart icon blinks in the corner like a flare. My spine locks and then straightens. She notices and swaps to the next slide. Too late, the manager lines toward the screen. Remove personal graphics from training assets, he warns flat. Her jaw tightens and she nods once. Questions surge from the table and test them. He redirects 3 and redirects the glare. She pulls them back with crisp answers. The manager relaxes and checks his watch. Debrief in the bullpen, he calls out, rising. I follow the herd to a space lined with desks. No doors, no shadows, everything overheard if needed. They stand at opposite ends of the cluster. The manager runs a short performance review. Strong delivery, clean handoffs, watch optics, he says. A junior analyst lifts a hand halfway. Photo from lunch is making rounds, she blurts. Heads pivot, phones appear like reflex. I step closer and pretend to read a chart. My throat dries as curiosity swells around us. He speaks first with a measured tone. Lunch was logistical planning near the printer. Eyes slide to me and then back. I raise a finger like an observer. Confirmable by timestamps, I add steady. The manager scans the group and cuts in. Everyone out for 10 minutes, he orders. Desks empty fast under his stare. He turns to the 3 of us. Clear this today or I call HR. We gather at a standing table with nothing to hide. The manager folds his arms and waits. He looks at her and then at him. Any boundary issues I should know about? Silence holds for 3 long breaths. She steps forward and sets her palms flat. Work scope drifted, I am correcting it now. Open rooms only, no gifts, no private chats. Her voice is clipped and unshaking. The manager nods and shifts to him. I misread lines and let things blur, he admits. I'm disclosing at home tonight and scheduling counseling. Deliverables remain on track, he adds low. The manager studies him for a full beat. Put that in writing to me by 6. He points at me like a witness. Are you satisfied with their plan? I keep my stare locked on his badge. For now, I answer even in cold. Any backslide and I escalate. The manager exhales and checks his messages. Good, you two return to the room, he directs. Run the Q&A with cameras on. He turns to me with a warning look. No disruptions during client time. They move back to the conference area. I drift to the glass wall and watch. He gestures while she fields a hard scenario. The chat floods with thumbs and short praise. Confidence spreads like a controlled burn. My phone buzzes with a photo from a coworker. Lunch angle, 3 faces blurred and 1 bracelet box. Caption reads, "Cute gift, coach." I type back 2 words. Wrong story. The manager returns and reads over my shoulder. "Where did that come from?" he asks. "Group chat spun it up after dessert," I answer. He takes my phone and forwards the image. "It will scrub it, damage is already done." Inside the room, the client segment wraps. She thanks the remote team and mutes. He starts collecting cables with jerky hands. I slip into the doorway and hold his gaze. We meet at home, no detours. She crosses the space and stops beside me. "There's one more item," she says quietly. "An external dinner for recognition next week. Public event, press invited, nameplates on tables." Her eyes dare me to argue. The manager overhears and walks back fast. "Cancel the solo invite, send a group RSVP. Rotate presenters so nothing looks personal." He locks eyes with me for emphasis. "Then we close this chapter at work." I nod once and pocket my phone. He rolls his shoulders like they finally hurt. She opens the calendar and starts typing. A new invite pings 3 supervisors at once. The subject line reads, "Open debrief roundtable." The manager claps his hands and resets the floor. "Back to normal hours after 6, he announces. Any direct messages move to shared channels. He flicks the lights as teams filter in. I step aside and let the current carry them. In the hallway, he catches up to me. "Ride together or separate?" he asks, guarded. "Separate," I answer without hesitation. He nods and watches the elevator numbers drop. My chest tightens for the thing waiting at home. He walks in before sunset and drops his keys too hard. Mom pushes 2 plates forward without touching him. I pull a chair and sit at the head. "Now," she says, fingers steady on the table. His throat works like he swallowed a stone. He reaches for his phone and leaves it face up. A blank screen dares us to blink. I slide a thin stack of prints between the plates. He flinches but keeps his hands flat. "Start with yes or no," Mom says. "Did you cross the line at work?" Her voice stays low. He stares at the wall clock and lets time pass. "Yes," he answers, barely moving his mouth. "Define it," I push, not giving him space. He presses his thumb into his palm until it pales. "Messages after hours, lunches alone, a planned gift." He lists them like charges at booking. No hotel, no travel, no touches. He looks at me for mercy and finds none. Mom sets a folded towel on the chair beside him. "Guest room tonight," she says, eyes never blinking. "Counseling scheduled tomorrow or you move out. Tell your manager in writing by 6. He nods once like a man hearing sentence. "Phone on the table," she adds, pointing down. He unlocks it in SL. Eyes it over. Pin threads crowd the top like badges. One icon uses a heart instead of initials. Mom's face hardens as I open the chat. A string of short notes scrolls past like sparks. "War room after 4, bring the deck. You were electric today. Coffee early if you need to reset." A photo of a napkin with a tiny charm. 3 dots flicker like a pulse and then vanish. "Read the last 10, Mom says, arms crossed tight. I hold my breath and scroll methodically. He watches every line like a person on trial. "I will return the item tonight," one message reads. Another says, "We keep everything visible from now on." Mom nods at the screen and turns to him. You write that to your boss again, now. He opens a mail draft under our eyes. The subject line fills with blunt language. He types slow and corrects nothing. I take photos of the draft while he writes. He does not object as my lens clicks. He adds a paragraph about boundaries breached. He lists steps for monitoring and group channels. He breathes out when the CC field populates. Send it, Mom says without a wobble. He hits the button and stares at the confirmation. A second passes like a hammer fall. My phone pings with a forwarded copy. His shoulders sag, but the room stays charged. Doorbell knocks twice and stops us cold. Mom's head turns with a small jerk. He rises and freezes halfway to the hall. Expecting someone, I ask, ready for impact. No, he answers too quick. I reach the door and sign for a delivery. Small box, boutique logo stamped on top. Billing uses our address in bold print. The note inside reads, for your big moment. My fists curl as I hold the card up. Mom stares at the box like it burns. Return it in front of us, she orders. He dials and asks to cancel the purchase. The agent asks for the order number twice. He repeats it and emphasizes immediate reversal. The call ends with a reference code in silence. He places the box back on the mat. Leave it outside until pickup, Mom says. I lock the door and slide the chain. We listen for footsteps that never arrive. Open your calendar, she instructs, voice colder now. Block time for a therapist this week. He taps and books one first available slot. I take a photo of the confirmation page. He swallows and grips the edge of the table. Next, I say, pushing him forward again. You message her and state work only. Public rooms, group invites, full archive. He nods and drafts each line carefully. I watch for any softening and see none. He sends the message and turns the phone around. 2 minutes pass with no response. Tinted bubbles finally appear and then stop. A reply lands with 3 sentences and a period. Understood, compliance first. I will mirror your boundaries. Mom exhales once and looks toward the hallway. You sleep in the guest room until further notice. You cook tomorrow and you do the store run. You tell your family the facts by the weekend. He nods and flinches at the word family. He stands and gathers a small bag in silence. No protests, no attempts at charm. He walks past the framed photos without looking. His door closes with a clang click. The quiet afterward is louder than shouting. I carry the prints to the counter and stack them. Mom wets a cloth and wipes the empty space. She rests both palms on the counter and waits. Thank you, she says, voice rough but steady. We finish this together, but not tonight. I wake to the buzz of his email hitting my inbox. Subject reads disclosure and corrective steps with his boss copied. A second ping follows from compliance confirming receipt. I forward both to Mom without a word. Down the hall, a door latch clicks like a warning. He appears in the kitchen with eyes that refuse mine. I book counseling for Thursday, he manages, voice scraped thin. I will brief HR on the optics today. Mom nods once and pushes a pen toward him. Write the facts for our families, no embroidery. He grips the pen and starts printing careful lines. No excuses, no soft focus, just events and boundaries. His hand shakes when he writes the bracelet detail. He signs the page and slides it across. Mom folds it and stares like it might move. My phone lights up with a new banner. Her message lands short and clinical. I requested reassignment, effective immediately. Good luck with home. No heart, no extras, just a clean cut. I screenshot it for the record and feel nothing. Doorbell again, this time a delivery return slip. The courier scans the untouched box on the mat. He asks for a signature and checks the label twice. I scribble mine and keep the receipt. The hallway smells like friction and fresh ink. A calendar alert jerks us back to now. His boss wants a video check before lunch. Camera's on, the invite notes hard as steel. He straightens his collar and picks up the laptop. Mom taps her watch and points to the den. I stand off screen while the call connects. The manager's voice comes clipped and all business. Written admission received, guardrails accepted, monitoring starts today. One more slip and we restructure your role. He agrees, chin high but colorless. Call ends and the room breathes again. Mom opens the pantry and tosses him a grocery list. You cook, you clean, you keep proof, she says. He folds the list like a pledge and pockets it. Silence sits between us like glass. Why did you let it get this far? I ask. He grips the counter until his knuckles blanch. I wanted to feel wanted and hoped you'd stop me. The words land heavy, plain, unforgivable. I nod once because the truth still cuts. He reaches for the ring and pauses midair. Not off, not back on, just suspended halfway. Mom watches and doesn't blink for 10 beats. Ring stays, but you sleep alone until trust moves, she says. He lowers his hand and swallows hard. I gather the documents into a neat stack. Proof for now, leverage if needed later. He sets a pan on the stove and lights it. Oil snaps and jumps like nerves under skin. We stand with our separate thoughts and sharper rules. My phone buzzes one last time before dinner. The manager forwards a staff-wide notice about team rotation. Her name fades into a generic list of presenters. No photos, no whispers, no special seats. I look at the guest room door and wait.